NFL record for the worst completion percentage. This is a game you need to win. This is a divisional matchup against a team you should beat. This is how you stack up wins. Welcome back to i75Live. We are on episode 35 this week. Before we get into some of today's topics of what we are going to talk about in the sports world, don't forget, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to all the channels.
Follow us. Show
Anything
love.
little matters.
Yes.
It's, little, we do put a lot of work into this, so stuff
Tons.
like that puts,
Puts a little smile on our faces to see the recognition.
Yes.
You know?
So this past week, like we mentioned, March Madness came to an end.
Really good.
Ended with a lot of good games, as we were hoping for. Yeah, that too.
Yes.
We're going to go into a little bit of the Alex Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's record. That's huge in the sports world.
ESPN's odd choice to bring LeBron into the conversation.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I mean,
strange stuff.
It's
the Braves.
Braves are. We finally won a game against.
You guys went to the
team.
game last night. You must be the good luck.
We did.
Good luck, Charles.
We're gonna have to go to every game from now on.
Every game.
NBA, some
crazy stuff.
With 2 weeks till playoff start, a big team, I would say, that are going to be in the playoffs.
Yep.
A lot of controversy are coming out about them and some decisions made. So we'll get into that. We'll talk a little bit about the draft, not
3
so
weeks
much.
away? We're close
because 3 weeks we are going to be there as well. But we'll touch a little bit.
Wisconsin.
There's something that I heard of a lot of people talking about. So I'll kind of give my opinion on that, and then to wrap it up. Obviously, the Masters
week
is going on. We have a little game prepared for the Masters, which I think is going to be pretty fun. A lot of people do this. Me and Vanny did a hybrid version of this in college. He kind of got me into it. We're kind of simpling it down just to make it a little bit easier, just to follow.
A little friendly competition.
So yes, that's going to be at the end. It's going to be pretty fun. Like I said, I've done it before. More complex. We've simpled it down, so that will be fun. First, though, March Madness.
A couple choke jobs, like bad ones.
Duke had it. I think I saw they were winning for 36.
Duke was up by 6 with a minute left.
That, and they were winning for like 37, 36 minutes of the game entirely.
Houston had 2 leads, I think, throughout the entire game. They led when it was like 6-5, and then they didn't have another lead until there was like 30 seconds left.
Yeah, and I know Cooper Flag, or Duke as a whole, only having 1 field goal made in the last 10 minutes.
Wild.
But to my attention, though, Gunny pointed it out, and he was like, hey, but Cooper Flag had most of his points. I think he had 7 points in the first half, and he had like 20 points in the second half. So I'm not going to say it's Cooper Flag's fault. I know that's easy to that play too 100%. Is overlooked. I know it's going to be easy to say, it was his fault. We were kind of going back and forth with Vanny. And he brought up a good point. I think I also brought up a good point to where, that last play where Vanny kind of said, well, obviously they were going to go to Cooper. Why would you not try to do something different? Houston, But in my opinion, you're saying that because he didn't make the shot. If he made the shot, then it's like, well, Houston, why didn't you triple team him? He's your best player. Obviously, Duke was going to give their best player the ball. Yeah. What did you think was going to happen? He was going to make a jump. You know what I mean?
Arguably, they do have like 3 or 4 best players.
But you're like comparing it as in, well, he didn't make it, so you should have done something different. You should have had a different play, used him as a decoy, because you should have assumed that Houston was going to use their best player to make the final shot. That's just what you do.
Yep.
Or if he makes it, then it's you got to triple team him. He's your best player. So you're right on both sides to where personally, I'm giving the ball to my best player. Yep. He had 20 points in the second half. No one else could score because you had 1 field goal in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm giving the ball to my best player 100 times out of 100 times and going, I'm going to live with whatever happens because that's my best player.
Oh, yeah.
Because we see it too often to where it's like, well, why didn't you why didn't you give the ball to the hands of your best player? That was stupid. Mm-hmm. You use someone else like a decoy. You use your best player as a decoy.
Yep. Either way, you lose. Either way, like there will be ways to kind of scrutinize what you did. But I don't.
Dylan, where are you though? Where's Duke without Cooper Flag this year? Like, are they in the Final Four?
No, they're not.
I mean, so come on.
And
like, leave the guy alone.
like,
He's not even, he should still be in high school.
This was a team issue. Duke, I saw it over and over again. Obviously playing in the ACC, Duke didn't have close games. Like every other team in the Final Four was playing close-ass games throughout the season and they were weathered for it. They were ready. And Duke, arguably outside of a few tournament games, did not. And even then, not even in the tournament. They were winning by a lot every single game.
To be fair, though, against Houston ranked the #1 defensive team in the tournament, and they were winning for 95% of the game.
Duke got as far as they did based off of pure talent. They did not get there based off of experience or kind of being used to the moment, which is exactly what Houston did. That's how they made it. They had a core of people that had been on the team, seniors, like fifth-year players, and then transfers from teams that were taking or making far runs in March Madness with their other respective teams. There was a guy from Purdue, and then I think an Indiana player. But yeah, I can't put it all on Cooper Flagg. No. But I mean, throughout the season, he had, I think, like I said, they didn't play in short, close games, but they had 4 instances where they could have won. I think it was Kansas, you had Tennessee, you had Kentucky, and then you had Clemson. And Cooper Flagg had a chance to make a shot in all 4 of those instances, but in the same breath, he's 18. He just played his very first year of college basketball. If he doesn't go back to Duke, he's going to be the first pick in the NBA draft, and he'll develop, wherever they put him. In my opinion, I think if he does go to the draft, that the NBA is going to do what they normally do when a generational guy is coming out, and they'll rig it a little bit to send him to one of their bigger markets. So this year would be Philadelphia. You can expect Cooper Flagg to be in a Philadelphia 76ers jersey by October if he does end up coming. But the question is, what do you think there? I think there's a chance that he comes back because of how they lost, and because of all the stuff that he left kind of unsaid a little bit. There's so many questions like, can he handle clutch shots? I mean, he was 0 for 4 in those instances.
I think there's always a chance. I also think in the world of college basketball that we live in, it's not like he's going to be chasing the NBA money. You're making a lot of money in
his
college.
NIL money's huge right now.
So no matter what you decide to do, you're going to be making money. It just comes down to, hey, do you want to play out another college season, or do you just want to, go straight to the NBA?
I really think he runs it back.
But to kind of backtrack a little bit to your
what do you
point,
mean run it back? You think he'll go back to college?
Go back to Duke.
I think he's going to go to Duke one more year because I think he wants to win that title for him.
So, but to kind of go back though, to kind of what you said about, yes, he had a couple opportunities in the regular season with the game on the line. He had the last shot. To me, that just confirms he's the best player on the team.
Oh, absolutely.
Give the ball to your best player to make the shot. Yes, he didn't make it. You know how many players in baseball, basketball, football,
I know the stats. So LeBron James are considered one of the most clutch players by many. Over the last 4 or 5 years is like 1 for 34 in game tying and game winning situations. And the first one in that many years came a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean,
even the best of the best.
It's cool to be
Michael
like,
Jordan, you guys missed 26 game-winning shots in his career.
Yeah,
and he's still
26 is a low number.
And you can say all the ones that he did make. Yes, I get that. But it's like, what are we arguing about here? Like,
he's going to get better.
We're going to define.
We're seeing his floor right now. His floor is player of the year in college basketball. Like, that's as bad as he'll get. That's the bare minimum.
And
in
he's
his first year. Yeah, and he's 18. So it's like, he's 6'10", moves like he's Kevin Durant, but
I agree.
I don't know. He's like 40 pounds heavier than Kevin Durant. It's
to go into the championship though. This was a kind of another.
I thought Houston was going to win.
Well,
I really did.
They looked very their defense was great.
They're the best 3-point shooting team as well. And so
on top of that, with the defense they had, how many points they were winning by, it made sense.
Florida's best player, Clayton, had a horrible start to the game. He only finished with 7 points.
Yeah.
And so, Houston had the recipe. And I don't know how you blow a 12-point lead, but Florida did it all tournament long.
Well, and back to our point is Houston was winning. I think Florida only had the lead for like 1 minute and 30 seconds of the whole game. That's all that mattered though. And I will say Florida down that last, stretch, they played very, very good defense. And they were able to take advantage of the couple mistakes that Houston made. And that is what separates a championship
That's what
team.
the best teams do.
That's what the best teams do, especially in a championship game. You have to be able to capitalize on the other team's turnovers, mistakes, and they were able to do that in the most critical time of the game, and they ended up, coming out with the win.
That's right. I mean, all year known as an offensive team, and when it came down to it,
the defense
won the
yes,
championship.
yes.
That was crazy. You got to feel for Houston's coach, man.
Yeah.
I'm watching that final play and just seeing them
just,
not even getting a shot up, and he's just standing there blank faced.
And then in the interview after, he's like, "We have to get a shot up. We didn't. We didn't even get a shot."
God, yeah, you got to feel for him. I mean, and I can't say they'll be back next year. This was the epitome of this was coming together after 3 or 4 years of trying, and you fell short last year. You lost in the Final Four. This was it.
Now, with the SEC winning the championship, the last time the SEC won the championship,
Florida, no, Kentucky.
It was Kentucky in 2014, I believe, 13 or 14.
I want to say it was Anthony Davis.
Exactly.
That is the last time. That is the last time in SEC. It was almost 10, 11 years ago.
Yep.
So, do you think now, because of NIL and how much money some of these SEC teams are throwing at some of these guys? Do you think this is going to be a trend of we're going to start to see an SEC team not win every year, but maybe every other year? And it's just going to, because these schools now have the most money to throw around.
The way the college football playoff is.
Yeah. I think a lot more people start paying attention to the NIT tournament. Because what was it? Troy and
it was Chatta. No, I thought it was it
was Troy and some other. I know it was Troy. I remember.
Well, it ended in almost like a buzzer beater where the dude missed it. I think it was Chattanooga,
something like that. It was a really good game.
But yes, I mean, I look at it and I go, I don't see it.
This is what you wanted.
I don't see it as shocking that all of a sudden, when all this money is being thrown around college sports, that
the best
an SEC team, the best conference, the schools that have the most money to throw around, booster wise and player wise, all of a sudden wins a championship.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to change. I do think college sports is headed for relegation soon.
I know they're voting on whatever they're voting on within the next couple weeks. I know Vanny's told us that a couple times. So it will be interesting to see that. I know they've kind of mentioned they're going to put a salary cap on each team, each team only has $25 million to spend.
Easy.
But at that point, now you're just so who's going to keep track of how much money you are spending? Who's going to keep track of if you go over?
It would make
what's going to be the penalty? So now every college football team's going to have a GM.
Yeah,
to
so they do already. A lot of them do.
Still,
basketball teams have GMs, and I don't know about college football. I don't know how that works, but they do have a kind of GM.
Well,
it's not called a general manager, I don't think, and he doesn't have necessarily the same responsibilities. But like you just said, that's probably where they end up going.
But now
where you have bookkeepers and you have a salary cap that you have to follow. That's just like the NFL teams do it. And I mean, it's college sport or
maybe it'll
professional
be good
sports
though.
already.
Now the coaches can just coach and not have to worry about all this other crap.
Yeah, that's another way to look at it.
It's a mess.
It is.
It is a mess.
It's gonna be a mess before it ends up looking pretty though. It's gonna take a few years.
It's a mess.
By the way, NIT, you guys, it was Chattanooga. They defeated UC Irvine 85-84.
Where did I see Troy? Is that another tournament?
I don't know.
I was seeing Troy a lot.
But that game did end up, that was all over social media of how that one ended.
Yes.
I
remember seeing the buzzer beater.
So to go kind of on to records, this was a big one.
This is it was 30 years standing?
It was Gretzky, something like that.
I'm sure we're all familiar with Wayne Gretzky.
Alex Ovechkin breaks Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record. This was really cool. If you haven't seen the moment, go check it out. And they stopped the game as they should have, celebrated it. Mm-hmm. It was kind of funny. Some of the guys were saying they lost the game, and then when they came in the locker room after the game, it was kind of dang, we lost. But then they celebrated and had beers and that whole thing. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool. But it brings up the argument I don't know why we do this. And I mean, I know why we do.
This is
I'm not putting myself in this category. This is mainstream media sports. Why are we comparing LeBron to Wayne Gretzky and who was better? Who gives a shit? It's two different sports, two completely different sports when it comes to physicality and the way the game is played. Yep. Who cares?
Why are they comparing LeBron? How about compare Jordan? Because LeBron is a frigging crybaby.
Well, no, No, that's
It was so ESPN.
Stop. No, they're comparing LeBron.
I get
because he holds the score record, most points in NBA history.
It was a segment.
That's why they're comparing the two.
The day after Ovechkin broke the record, they had a segment titled "Which scoring record is more impressive, LeBron's points record or Alexander Ovechkin's goals record?" I don't think it's a fucking conversation that the goals record in hockey is way more impressive. Okay,
way more
skating, yeah, like not even close. And the man is just as old as LeBron.
Well, and let's be honest too.
Just as he has the same longevity, hasn't been hurt. He's been playing the same. He's been in the league, NHL, playing hockey professionally for 20 years. That you cannot compare.
Well, if you're going to compare the physicality,
and look at us now, we're having the conversation. Thanks a lot, ESPN.
Well,
Jesus,
if you're going to compare the physicality of hockey to NBA,
It's
really
lazy.
bored.
It's lazy. And
You're
that's
bored.
ESPN has just gotten into the rhythm of, clicks
But hold on,
generates
though.
money, and what gets more clicks than controversy and arguments that honestly make no sense and make people want to add in, be like, either this is stupid or saying why they take either side. It's lazy as hell. It's very lazy. And they had
Lazy
a legendary
journalism.
hockey player, PK Subban, who's played, I think he retired a few years ago, and he started comparing LeBron and saying, like, he chimed in and said, "Oh, LeBron's not Jordan or Kobe for me." Cool, you're right, but who cares? Like, that wasn't the conversation got taken completely off of Ovechkin, and you just plopped LeBron, the golden child of ESPN for the last 15 years, right in the middle of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. It was when I saw this, I just kind of rolled my eyes and I was like,
boy,
what are we doing?
Oh, brother.
Like, we can't just celebrate someone within their sport of doing something amazing. We have to immediately jump to
it's Mahomes and Brady. Just wait.
It's the same thing. It's the same
world
thing.
we live in, unfortunately.
It's even weirder, though.
It is. To go on to kind of the MLB just a tad. If you saw on social media, we were at the game last night.
Braves.
We did win. Now look, long season.
That was a great.
It was a great game.
Oh
Phillies are a great team. Chris Sale didn't pitch very well.
Neither did Wheeler.
Neither did Wheeler.
They kept him in
but wait a minute.
time.
So wait, when you say Chris Sale didn't pitch very well, you were aware. Maybe you don't always find out at the game when you're there, but they were saying the strike zone was like all over the place last night.
It was.
And
Chris
maybe
Sale
it
didn't know
was.
where to put the ball.
But he still let a ton of hits. He didn't go probably as far as he wanted to. Same thing
He only
with Wheeler.
went like 5 innings, I think. Wheeler went like 7.
It was great to see though. It was, in my opinion, it was the classic vintage, Braves versus Phillies that it's been.
Well, we got to see their full lineup too. Like Sean Murphy was
on
off
both
the
sides.
IL, Arcia was back, and then Schwarber, Harper, Turner, all of them played. Everybody played.
Everyone played.
For the most, except Acuna. But
Acuna wasn't out there.
you got to see both teams at full strength pretty much.
Yeah.
With their best pitchers on the mound.
Being a Braves fan, though, it was nice to see us kind of finally look like ourselves when it came to swinging the bat.
Yeah.
We also had a home run robbed. That was
crazy. All of this happened right in front of us. We were on the third baseline. We saw the home run robbery. Then we saw the Austin Riley double where two players are just staring at each other.
And you just see the ball drop. That was pretty funny.
And then the home run from Sean Murphy. All of it happened right in front of us.
It was a great game.
We got to see a diving catch in the 9th or the 8th or the 9th. Wild. Like
it was fun.
We got everything.
And again, if you're around this area and haven't been to Truist this year yet, they have done a lot of cool new things inside the park with food and with different spots. Definitely highly recommend going and checking it out. It's a fun place to be. Even if you don't go to the game, there's so much to do on the outside and even to watch.
The battery is great.
The battery's great. If you've never been, highly recommend. NBA though. This happened yesterday? Was it yesterday?
No, this was. Oh no, yeah.
I know it's kind of been turmoiled. If the story is coming out of this has been weeks.
Yesterday, it finally came to fruition. But the Nuggets fired their head coach Mike Malone and their GM Calvin Booth with 3 games left in the season. But they were a 2 seed a few weeks ago, and they're on a 4-game losing streak right now, and they're almost fighting for a play-in spot at this point. But they just won a championship 2 years ago. This is like largely the same group, for outside of a few players, and just stories coming out about how toxic the relationship was with the GM and head coach. I don't understand how this happens and like how you let something like this go on for so long to the point where you have to cut bait with both of them. They were apparently avoiding talking to each other completely. And I don't know how long that went on, but like What?
Well, what doesn't make sense is the whole, I mean, you're 2 weeks away from the playoffs, and it's not like you're not in the playoffs.
No, you got arguably the best player in the NBA.
That tells you how toxic that relationship
That's what I was just about to
It-
say. It tells you how bad it had to have
It
been.
begs the question, do you think they went to Jokic and were like, hey, these guys are kind of fucking crazy.
You kind of have to.
Like,
with
are
your
you
best
okay
player.
with this?
I mean, it's like the whole, like with LeBron and Luka thing. There's no way that LeBron had no idea that Anthony Davis was getting traded away. The only reason he was probably okay with it because he knew he was getting Luka.
The smart owners would console with their best players.
Yes.
I mean, it makes sense that they would want to be happy, and they probably have an idea of the right direction to head since they're on the court every single day. But it's ridiculous. And then you see, I sent this to you before we came in. There's a video of Mike Malone talking in a press conference after they got either blown out or just lost a really bad game like 2 weeks ago. And he just goes on a rant talking about how the players pretty much don't care and they're not going to watch film unless they show it to them. And it just like, it sounded like it was going to explode then. And then it lasted 2 more weeks.
So I kind of agree with him. Do you honestly think that NBA players are watching film of the game before on their next flight to their next game?
Hell no.
Hell no. So I agree with him where he's like...
basketball is not an easy sport by any means, but it is not the same as watching film for like football. No, not even close.
So that's where I was going to say is like maybe it was just... Maybe he pissed off people because he was saying the truth. And he was saying what no one wanted to say, and he was the one to say it because, you know, he's been very notorious for coming out and kind of just being...
He's an old school coach.
Yeah, which I think there's a reason why he won a championship a couple years ago.
Yes.
So to me, I kind of go, there's definitely some truth to it.
Yeah.
But it's just some of the either the players... I mean, maybe Jokic didn't like it, and he was like, went to the owner and was like, "You need this guy's got to go."
Well, there were also stories coming out about how there were players on the Nuggets. I don't know how true this is. Obviously, anything is considered a rumor, but there were players not named Jokic and Jamal Murray that were kind of bringing up issues with how there was a little bit of favoritism in how Jokic and Murray were getting treated in respect to the other players that were on the team. And on top of that, apparently the GM had issues with Malone playing some veterans, aka Russell Westbrook, down the stretch of games, which I saw a couple plays from last week that he lost them a few games on something that was completely his fault. Nobody else's fault but his. But he was choosing to play him instead of some promising young guys that had recently been drafted by said GM. So it's... The whole thing is just a dumpster fire. It sounds like a Chicago team to me. It's
well, and you know, normally you don't see teams with, I think, that big of a talent like Jokic do that.
The West is. You look at the standings. There are right now 1, 2, 3, 4 teams that are sitting at 47 and 32. That's your 4 through your 7 seed right there. Your 8 seed is sitting at 46 wins. So it's like the entire conference is a juggernaut. And the Nuggets were sitting as a 2 seed 2 weeks ago. And I think it ties the record for latest coaching change in the NBA. The Hawks did it with QB Brown, I think, a long time ago with 3 games left. It's unfathomable. I don't know how you do this with the squad that you have. You just won a championship.
Like Chris just said, to do something like this soon,
it had to have been bad.
It had to have been really, really bad.
Really bad. Worse than any of us could imagine.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you had a player saying, I'm going to request a trade. I'm out of here. It's either him or me.
Oh.
Well,
I mean, you have no idea, but it had to be toxic.
And if Jokic was the player to do that, you're like, whoa,
exactly.
Okay, he's gone. I'm sorry.
Where at the end of the day, your players are, kind of what runs it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
It's very interesting.
Crazy.
And
crazy.
A lot of people are speculating more and more is going to come out about this, but it's got to be really, really bad if they did this when they did it.
Oh, yeah.
So we kind of mentioned, NFL draft.
Yep.
3 weeks away.
It's close.
We have a little to just kind of go, is there anything, because, there's so many talks about trading up, nothing's really happened. But I will say the one thing that I've seen kind of being talked about is the first 2 picks are saying that it's going to be, Abdul Carter. I think Ward is going to go number 1 to Tennessee. So I think Ward's gone. And then it's where the Cleveland Browns picking at 2 is where everyone is really, really confused, to where what they do is going to kind of
dictate the rest.
The rest of the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So if they go Carter, that leaves 3 for the Giants. This is what I am seeing.
Who already have 2 quarterbacks on the roster.
This is what I'm seeing though. I'm seeing that they're going to pick Travis Hunter.
The Browns?
No. The Giants
if
at
they
3.
take Carter.
If the Browns take Carter,
yeah,
then the Giants would be at 3. The Giants would take Hunter, and then people are saying they're going to trade back into the first round to take Sanders and have Malik Neighbors, Travis Hunter, and Sanders. And I know you already have 2 quarterbacks on your roster.
Wild.
That is what I'm seeing. A lot of people going, hey, if Travis is there at 3 because the Browns don't take a quarterback, they take Carter, you're sitting there, best player available, would probably guess is Hunter at that point.
Yeah.
When it comes to skill position, if you don't want to know linemen.
Or D lineman, yeah.
Take him and then trade back in, and now you get both. I know you got 2 quarterbacks. I know you got Russell Wilson. I know you did that. But you can maybe trade one of those. It's not like you signed them like the Kirk Cousins deal to where you're signing, for $100 million. So I think it wouldn't be crazy. But I am seeing that start. Now, maybe, again, it's just people fishing for anything they can.
Yeah.
But it would kind of be a little, Deion Sanders-esque if you get Travis Hunter and then all of a sudden you trade back into the top 15 and you pick Sanders for your quarterback.
Oh, I could definitely see that happening. I don't know who they would trade back up with, because quite honestly, one of my hot takes for the draft is the Saints drafting a quarterback at 9. And so with that, I don't know who the Giants would trade up with, because I don't see, maybe the Panthers want to load up on some draft picks and the Giants get right in front of the Saints at 8 and then they take Sanders. But I think the Saints are taking a quarterback. I think it's either Jackson Dart or Shador. I think at 9. They have other needs, but Kellen Moore, brand new head coach, offensive mind, go get your quarterback. Derek Carr is not going to cut it. Yeah. He's making a lot of money. Who's probably going to get, it'll make sense to cut him next year. So yes, I really think they go quarterback. But on top of that, another thing, it's been speculating and just pretty much around the sports media world, just talking about the Raiders taking Ashton Janty. And yeah, that's one of their needs, and it would be, anyone that gets Janty is an incredible pick, but the Raiders have way too many holes to be worried about a running back top 10. And that's not to say that Janty isn't worth a top 3 pick, because I think he's probably like one of the top 2 or 3 players in the draft. But the Raiders lost pretty much their entire starting secondary in the offseason. They lost linebackers. They don't have a very good O-line. They've got pieces, but they don't have a complete O-line. Same with the D-line. That team, even with Geno Smith, that's a placeholder. You have way too many holes to justify taking a running back. So I think they probably go like Will Johnson from Michigan.
Trade out and get a crap ton of picks and build this team.
Well, then you trade to a team that wants Janty. Please don't put that in my head, because this is me being a Bears fan trying to talk myself into thinking the Bears are going to get Janty at 10. But obviously, other things need to happen for that. But the Raiders are the biggest threat. And they lost, starting safety Marcus Epps, Trayvon Moehrig, who's a pretty good safety. They lost both of them. Starting corner Jack Jones, who you're familiar with from the Patriots, good corner. Yeah. And then cornerback Nate Hobbs as well. 4 spots, and that's just starters. They lost more. And Will Johnson is probably going to be sitting right there at 7 for you to take, or 6. I think that's the move. I think they go defense regardless, but even if somehow LSU's tackle Will Campbell is still available, I think they could go him. I can't see a future or a reality where Janty is the pick for them, and it's been talked about ever since pretty much that his pro day and stuff happened. It's Janty at 6, Janty at 6. That's all they're pushing, and so. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that this draft could shape out. It
is. And, like I said, it's hard to speculate. It's hard to, I think there are going to be teams that trade up. Mm-hmm. It would be, I don't know.
I have a question for you, though. So if the Patriots, you think if the Patriots miss out on both Carter and Hunter, are they going to take an offensive lineman? They're just going to say, fuck it. You know what? We had the worst offensive line in the league last year. Let's take a staple guy like Campbell or Membo from Missouri.
Probably. It would really suck.
It would suck.
It would suck for a lot of reasons because of the pick we could have had.
Yeah.
Firing our coach. We should have had the number 1 pick. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we miss out on, I think, Carter, what is a generational talent with Carter. Yeah. And then say what you want about Travis Hunter. I still think he's going to be a very good player.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the part that would make me mad, to where I would look at it and go, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, we literally had this
in the palm of your hands.
And the coach that isn't even here anymore, the quarterback who won us that game isn't even on our team anymore.
Yep.
Won us that game to have us go from the first pick to the 4th pick, missing out on either Carter, Hunter, or one of the top guys in this draft. That would be the part that makes me mad.
I mean, trading back
at that point, I would want to trade back and just load up.
Similar to the Raiders, Patriots have a ton of holes. So I think, if both of your guys, Carter and Hunter, which are probably like at the top of their draft board, if they're both gone, I'd say trade back. Which terrifies me, because that means there's more possibilities for Janty to get taken, but I think it would make a lot of sense for y'all.
I still think, though, the Browns are blowing smoke up everyone. I think they're going to take a quarterback.
Shedeur?
I think they're going to take a quarterback.
Do you guys realize how many times the Browns, I just looked it up, the Browns have had...
They've probably had so many top 5 picks.
In the draft. They've had 11 top 3. They've had 5 number 1 overall picks. They've had 5 number 3 overall picks, and they've only had 1 at number 2. But when I think of the Browns, I don't know about you guys, but over my lifetime, the Browns are just usually, I mean, with the exception of maybe Myles Garrett, they are career killers. Like, they kill careers.
It's like the Bears.
Well, look
like
what
nobody
they did.
wants to play there.
Look what they did with Baker Mayfield. Anyway. Now look at Baker Mayfield with Tampa. I know he's kind of so. Yes, it's yeah.
And you look through the list and you just can't believe the number of guys that have gone through there that had so much talent.
And they have a good, their defense
they invested so much
really
money into that defense.
With the secondary, with their D-line, even their quarterback. They invested a lot into Deshaun Watson. Now, that was a swing and miss, maybe the biggest in NFL history.
Oh, there's no maybe about that.
I still think, though, that they're taking a quarterback. I think there's just...
they need it.
They can say all they want now, but when they're on the clock on that night, they're going to freak out and they're going to take a quarterback because that's the most important position that
I feel like these teams right now are kind of worried. They're like, one, this quarterback class isn't very top heavy. It's real. There's 3 guys I think that are going to be quality starters. It's Shedeur, Ward, and Dart. That's it. Those are the only 3 that I'm even giving a blink of an eye to. But on top of that, you don't know that it's not a guarantee that Archie Manning comes out next year. So you could be, you still need to sell tickets for the next 2 years if he decides to stay after this season. And then, it's you either take the quarterback now or you risk not having one at all next season. And you're paying, Russell Wilson is on his 4th stop. And it's something like that, which just turns every fan in the world off. So it's tough.
I think no matter what they say, I think they're going to end up picking a quarterback, which will leave the Patriots in a good spot to get Carter or Hunter.
Oh, it'll be fun for you guys to be there to see it happen, I think, because I think the Browns are going to, Dawson, I think they'll take a quarterback. Their owner feels like he really screwed up with Deshaun Watson. He came out publicly and acknowledged it. I think he owes it to the fan base.
I agree.
I think they're holding close to the vest. And I think they're going to pick a quarterback. And now, like you said, Doss, that'll be great news for you, because then maybe you can see something amazing.
Well,
it'd be great, because no matter what, at that point, unless something crazy happens, I'm either getting Carter or
I think the Giants.
Hunter.
The Giants would take Hunter. They're not taking Carter.
I agree.
They are paying Brian Burns.
I agree.
They have Kayvon Thibodeau.
I agree.
They have Dexter Lawrence. They're paying defensive linemen.
I agree.
Taking Carter, as bad as it sounds, makes 0 sense for the Giants.
Malik Neighbors and Travis Hunter,
they have needs at secondary and receiver. They would be taking Hunter.
That sounds pretty cool to me if I'm a Giants fan.
Well, they'd need to find a way to trade back into the first round to take Shedeur.
If that's what I know I mentioned that, but if Travis Hunter is there at 3 or 2 or 3
They're
for
taking
the
him.
Giants,
I think they're taking
I think
him.
you're taking that.
You
You're
have
pairing
to.
that with Neighbors, and all of a sudden
You
that's
have
like,
to.
hey, this is.
You have to. And then you have
getting Carter then at 4.
Wandale
And then
Robinson
we'd get
in the
Carter
slot.
at 4, and
You're
I
happy with
completely take that.
Yeah, and then you're blowing a gasket out of joy in the middle of Green Bay.
I completely, that's what I think is going to happen. But I do think we're going to see a lot of trades. Maybe not a lot, but we're going to see a couple teams go up and maybe reach for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Because they get scared or, something along those lines. But yes, it is. We'll get more into it the closer it gets, and the more information that comes out. Yeah. It's going to be fun to watch though. It is. And we will be there. So that will be fun as well. So to wrap up the real fun of what starts, it starts today technically with the par 3. If you haven't checked out the par 3, it is pretty fun.
They're playing it right now. It started at noon.
Yeah, it is fun. The family's there. They let the kids hit. It's a good time if you haven't watched it. But the real show, I think this is circled on every golf fan's calendar to watch and to not only go, because I know barely anyone gets to go, the Masters. So to kick off kind of the Masters, we are going to do a little draft challenge in a way. So to kind of quickly explain, I'm going to spin a random wheel. We're gonna do this as like a fantasy snake draft. Each one of us, Chris, Dylan, and me, we're gonna pick a golfer. We're going to pick 4 golfers, and how it's going to work is the total score. So, for example, if all 4 of your golfers go -10 on the weekend, your total score is -40. And then if your golfer makes the cut, that's an extra point. So if all 4 of my golfers went -10, that's -40. They all made the cut, plus 4 points. My total score at the end of the weekend would be -44.
Okay.
Hope that kind of makes sense.
Yep, that makes sense.
So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to quickly spin our little wheel to see who picks first.
Let's see.
Come on.
Let's see.
Better be me or you're cheating.
It is Dylan by the hair on his chin.
Let's go.
Who's second?
We're going to do that right now.
Beautiful.
Oh, that sucks.
Let's see.
Dylan, you suck.
My pick might surprise
It
you.
is...
Come on.
Chris is second.
Yes.
So Dylan, Chris, me. So Dylan, with the first pick, anyone who's playing in the Masters is fair game. Does not matter. Dylan, first pick, who you going with? This might be a shocker to few.
Give me Rory.
Wow, I was not expecting that.
Give me Rory.
I'll take that. Hey.
He just pulled a Browns. He just pulled a Browns move on me. I am so jacked with this. I am going with Scheffler.
Yeah, that's
no question. It is his course.
Question. Okay, so I'm going to go, I know it might be a little crazy, but
I know who you're taking.
I'm going to go with Mr. Bryson DeChambeau.
I knew it.
That's a good pick.
Mother.
I like Bryson.
Great pick.
I think he's
going with
very likable. I like Bryson DeChambeau.
I knew it.
So now I get to pick again, right? Because snake
is that how that works? You get to pick again.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with, let's see. Who's a good one?
Come on, you're on the clock.
That's okay. I got a couple minutes.
3.
Couple more minutes.
Go with.
It's going to be auto draft right now.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
No.
Don't get to think about it this long.
You know what I'm going to go with?
Go. Tiger.
Brooks Koepka. Live Boys.
Interesting.
It's a good pick.
I'm going Brooks Koepka.
Okay.
He's always historically played good at the Masters. I'm going Brooks Koepka.
No, it's my turn.
No.
Yeah, Snake.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. I picked last.
Asshole. Don't try to take my pick away. Come on now. You probably wouldn't have made this pick anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and go for the big pick. I'm going with Abear.
God, I had him. It's Ober, by the Ober.
Ober. It doesn't matter. He's
damn it. I actually had he was going to be my second pick. All right. Well, I'm going with past winner John Rahm.
Okay.
Let's go. I got Rory and Rahm. I'm here.
Chris,
past winner and someone who should be a winner.
Yep, you're up again. This is your third.
You know what? I'm going to go with
Don't take mine.
Joffrey.
Okay. You didn't take mine.
He didn't take mine either.
I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa.
Oh, that's
good thing I picked.
Good pick.
Good thing.
Okay, so I get this is my last one, right?
What are we doing?
No, because I
think it's my pick this time.
No, it was me.
Does it go back to you again?
Yeah, because it went all the way through.
Yeah,
so now this is my last one.
And then it's me.
Okay, so this is my last one.
I feel like I got skipped.
No.
How many do you have?
Went first.
How many do you have?
I have 2.
What? No, Dawson. If he only has 2, I have 3.
Yeah.
How many do you have?
And guess who my pick was going to be?
You're gonna pick Morikawa.
He's gonna. How many you got? Dawson?
Morikawa was my pick.
Well, no, I have Koepka, and because I went 2 in a row, so I went Bryson, Koepka, and then it was back to you,
and then it's me.
You picked,
yeah,
so and then you picked Rom. Oh yeah, because you get 2 in a row.
So Morikawa is my pick. Sorry, Dawson.
Okay.
But that was actually going to be my pick.
That's fine. So now, do you go to fill out yours, and then I pick 2 in a row to fill out mine?
So I get 1 more pick?
This is your last one,
yeah,
yes.
and then you get 2 more.
And then I get 2 more, and then...
We get 1 more after Chris picks, because we have 4 total. I have 3. Chris is about to have... Who are you picking?
I'm going to go with... I am going to go with Justin Thomas.
Okay, my pick now, right?
That was close. No, it's me now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get 2.
I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth.
I thought he'd already gone.
No, these are his last 2.
These are my last 2.
Yep.
So that was my third one. So I've got Koepka, DeChambeau, Jordan Spieth, and now I'm going to go with... Oh, hold on. I know exactly. I just got to find him. So I could star him on the Masters app.
Dawson has an extra long clock.
No.
Yeah,
No. Where's he at? Hold on.
What's
Dawson,
his name?
You're on the clock.
Yeah, you are on the clock.
And you're off the clock. We're going to pick for you. I think we should pick Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Hold on.
How about Phil Mickelson?
So I can...
Never know. Phil might have a late career comeback.
How old is he now?
He's old, but
like in his 60s?
But he loves that course.
50s, 60?
No.
50?
I think Phil is probably about 50. If he's not 50, he's 49. Because him and Tiger are right there together.
All right. Who's your
Dawson,
pick, Dawson?
Hold
Hold
on.
on.
What's
I'm
going
trying to
on?
find him. I don't want to mispronounce his name because there's 2 that sound very similar. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to go with Patrick Cantley for my last one.
Good pick.
Okay, I'm going with Min Woo Lee.
That's who I was going to,
Give me him. He's Australian, right? Or New Zealand?
He's Australian.
I love his accent.
Nice.
Yeah, he sounds like such a cool guy.
Recently just won, too, so he could be coming in.
Okay, so we need to put
Min Woo
these
Lee.
together. We need to post them so people can see them.
Yep.
And let's see what happens. So
Hold on, so let's go over the teams.
Yeah.
Okay, here, Doss, you go first.
I got Patrick Cantley, DeChambeau, Koepka, and Jordan Spieth. Those are my 4.
Okay, Dylan, who do you got?
I've got Rory McIlroy. I've got John Rahm. I have Colin Morikawa. And then I have Min Woo Lee. It's my 4. I think it's a pretty good lineup.
Okay,
Good 4.
I've got Aubert, I've got Scheffler, I've got Schauffele, and Justin Thomas.
Pretty good.
Sweet. So, again, to go over, it's going to be the score of your golfers, and it will go as in the negative. So if they all go -10, you're at -40.
Yep.
I'll make the cut. You get a point for each one of your golfers that makes the cut.
What happens in the I guess chance of a tie?
Chance of a tie.
Should we pick our? You know what?
Box it
Chance
out.
of a tie. Let's pick the outright winner. How about that?
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
If we
who
pick
you
the
think-
outright winner, that's the tiebreaker.
And then, so you pick
Okay,
your
if the
winner,
winner's
and
on
if
your
no one
team,
picks
you
your
Or
right.
hold on. How about this?
I-
How about this? The one whoever has the highest placed golfer in their 4 wins the tiebreaker. So if
Perfect.
you have Scheffler and he comes in
then
second,
that way we can't
there
lose.
can't
Okay,
be a
perfect.
after that.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
tiebreaker. Yep.
There you go.
So whoever comes in a higher, if me and Dylan tie and
The highest, basically, out of
DeChambeau
all these
wins,
golfers, whoever
you would
finished the
win.
highest is who it would be. Like
Yeah.
if we
Yes.
didn't pick the winner, but you picked second place, you won.
yes,
If it's a tiebreaker,
yes,
probably won't.
if
be
there's a tie, it probably won't. But if there is, it will be out of your 4.
Pure
whoever
golf
has
fashion,
the
it's going to be someone who has never won before who's going to win.
probably. I would. There's a lot of great guys though that
It's gonna be a great.
I want to see
tournament.
Rory win.
I was telling Dylan though, Dawson, before this started, that I was saying I've watched the Masters every year for I haven't missed the Masters in 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Probably 35, maybe 35, 38 years.
Yeah.
I'm always there in front of the TV watching.
It's one of those.
Now we live in
things-
Georgia, and maybe someday we'll be there to
It's
actually.
it's the
see it.
super.
Augusta's like 3-4 hours away.
It is the Super Bowl of golf. It is.
It is the
I mean-
biggest
I
thing
mean,
in golf.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be awesome.
People care about
and
this.
the weather's finally nice.
Yeah, the weather's going to be great. I heard the course is in great shape, great condition from some of the stuff I've seen leading up to it. So I am really, really looking forward to it. But yes, if you want to jump in and kind of, the Masters app is great because you can go through all the guys and stars. So it's really easy to keep track of some of your favorites.
You can also, through that app, you can watch your favorite golfer hit every shot.
Yeah,
of the entire
the Masters does a great job.
Best.
Great job of coverage of different holes, of all the famous holes and everything like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't tuned into the Masters ever, I recommend it. If you haven't used the app, because I know some people probably don't know there's an app, the app is great. Like you said, you can literally watch every single shot from every single one of your, and it's completely free. Wow. Completely free. But yes, that will wrap it up. Episode 35, i75 Live. Enjoy the Masters for
Give
those.
us a follow.
We also playing golf on Saturday morning, so we're gonna get our own golf round
Saturday.
in before I sit on the couch and watch, the pros do it.
Hours of golf.
So yes, but thank you. Don't forget, like and subscribe for the full videos. We'll hope you enjoyed last week with Austin. We got some good feedback about that.
Yeah.
That was really fun, and I think it turned out great for some of the conversations we had. And he was
more to come.
A lot of the stuff he said about some of the basketball, March Madness stuff. He was.
You picked the winner for the first time.
I did also in our bracket I won, but I did pick the winner. First time ever, and it will probably be the first time,
probably the
last time that I ever do that. So that was pretty cool, just for a little pat on the back. We didn't put any money on it, unfortunately, but I did end up winning that. But no, yes, enjoy Masters. If you're going out golfing this weekend, enjoy that. The weather's finally starting to warm up.
Finally, a little bit.
Yeah, and we will see you guys next time.
Sure. It's been real, guys.